Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of NTV Sports Page. It's Wednesday, the 3rd of March, and I'm Curtis Morton. In our headlines, SDA Jets beat Calypso, and in our feature for this evening, we take in part 3 of the gear handing over ceremony held recently. We'll take this break, and I'll be right back. Well, I'm back, and we start with cricket. The St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank sponsored T10 cricket tournament being hosted by the Nevis Cricket Association continued at the VOGN grounds on Sunday 28th of February with 3 matches. In Game 1, Highlights engaged the Pioneers team. Highlights batted first and scored a more than competitive 127 for 5 from the allotted 10 overs. Mikhail Lewis slammed 78, which included 7 fours and 5 maximums. Tijari Clark scored 22. For Pioneers, Jerome Thomas got 2 wickets for 17 runs, Hakeem Harvey 1 for 13, and Marcus DeBerry 1 for 32. The Pioneers team made a sterling effort to overhaul the target, but folded at 102 for 4 when their 10 overs ran out. Duan Webb top scored with 57, 8 fours and 3 maximums, and Chevron Jeffers scored 14. For Highlights, Tariq Newman picked up 2 wickets for 19 runs, Light Brown 1 for 8, and Tijari Clark 1 for 11. Highlights won by 25 runs. Meanwhile, in Match 2 of the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank-sponsored T10 cricket tournament being hosted by the Nevis Cricket Association, played on Sunday 28 February, SDA Jets engaged the Calypso team. Jets showing up with only 9 players elected to bat first. The company of Curtis Morton and Curtis Dorr commenced the innings on a rapid note, and after 3 overs, the score was 45 for no loss. However, after they were parted, the innings ended on a much quieter note, with Elroy Kelly and Sinaldo Willett concluding the innings with a couple of boundaries. Curtis Morton Sr. got 37 with 5 fours and 2 sixes, Sinaldo Willett 13 not out, Elroy Kelly 13 not out, and Curtis Dorr 12. Jets got to 87 for 7 in their allotted 10 overs. For Calypso, Vishwanath Singh picked up 2 for 10 and Terran Webb 1 for 17. The Calypso team also got off to a rapid start with Nejan Sargent scoring a more than a runner ball 23, and later Merlin Liebert attempted to complete the assignment with a swashbuckling 35, but it was not enough. The Jets bowlers and fielders held their nerves right up to the very last delivery. Curtis Morton Sr. got 1 for 12. Melissa Clark, with her brisk medium pace, got 1 for 17. Calypso got to 79 for 2, and Jets won by 8 runs. Let's take in some moments from that game. Now to football. Fast Cash Saddlers FC remain at the top of the SKNFA Premier League table with a 1-1 draw with Newtown, while Rams Village Superstars got a 3-1 victory over Deep Bay Eagles. We join Andre Huey, the SKNFA media consultant, for this report.
Fast Cash Saddlers enjoyed their hold on the top of the table, drawing to Escrave Newtown United 1-1 on Saturday night. Having enjoyed 2 big wins in their first 2 matches, Saddlers seemed to be on a roll for a third straight win when Stefan Rollins scored in the 49th minute for the Purple Nation. But Delano Hodge of Newtown, who was a threat all night, notched the equalizer in the 58th minute. The match was broadcast live on the SKNFA website. Commentators Sylvester Charles and LaShawn Dixon.
In the middle, we have tonight David Phipps, the ref. This one comes across the goalkeeper, trying to control the one, and he scores! Oh my word, what an opportunity there. It looks as though it is the number 15, in fact, Rollins. So flick that one on and got it between the 2 defenders into the back of the net. And Saddlers has scored the first goal in tonight's game in just about the 47th minute or thereabout, and they're celebrating a Saddlers 1 and Escrave Newtown 0.
Yes, opportunity. Saddlers taking advantage from a set piece from the western side.
The feet a bit of a bubbling on top of the box. Ball being played wide by Rumpile, finds the man. McCann comes across and the flick on and the ball drilled into the back of the net. It's a goal to Newtown. Finally, Newtown has gotten the equalizer, and that one scored by Delano Hodge. 3+ standing there. I wondered for a moment if they weren't offside.
Yes. Three Newtown players, they found themselves behind the Saddlers defenders. I thought the Saddlers
standing there.
Yes. I believe the Saddlers defenders were anticipating an offside call, but the flag never came, and they punished the defenders.
In Saturday's other match, TGE Deer Bay Eagles suffered their second defeat in the SKNFA Premier League on the weekend, losing to Rams Village Superstars 3-1. From the first minute of the match, it became clear it would have been a long day for Deer Bay. As soon as the first whistle went, Carlos Bertie found the back of the net for Village. 9 minutes later, Kimari Rogers doubled the lead, but only for Shaveen Boston of Deer Bay to get one back. That made the match an interesting affair as Deer Bay mounted several challenges, putting some pressure on Village. But the former champions were up to the task and added a third protective goal in the 72nd minute from Samani Williams, who had just come on the field before scoring. Ordell Fleming of Village was sent off in the 47th minute with a straight red card. Here are highlights with commentators Al Edwards and Essington Watts.
Well, here comes Village, try to get across immediately, and Carlos Bertie is in the back of the net in the first minute of play. Across, coming from the right side, Bertie picked off the man, muscled off the man, caught the goalkeeper in no man's land, and had the easiest of tasks to knock it into an empty net. Village 1, Deep Bay 0. So here come again. This time in the box, this time it should be a goal. It's there. And making no joke with this one. 2-0. It looks like the man Soka. Is that Kimari atoning for his miss now? Yes, it is Kimari. Probably on. And Boston is onside. Boston gets in, and Boston scores! It's 2-1.
What a goal by Boston. Very good goal indeed to pull one back for Deep Bay. The ball was played through the Village Superstar defense. Boston got on the end of it.
Oh, it's a foul. Now they come forward with Rogers. Rogers goes inside the shot. The goal, it's there. Number 3 for Village, finally. In fact, the youngster who just came on, it looked like his first touch. What a touch. Into the back of the net.
Watch a touch in there, and it was coming.
We'll take this break and I'll be back with our feature for this evening.
Taxes are the lifeblood of a nation. Feel good about what your tax dollars do in Nevis. As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars protect our environment. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen.
Well, I'm back, and tonight we feature the final segment of the gear handing over ceremony held recently.
So we're going to get into the presentation of the Gears, I'm going to ask Mr. Atherton to join me along with President of the Cricket Association, Mr. Merchant, and Pastor Rollins. Now, due to time constraints, we're just going to do a symbolic gesture for presentation to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education. So I would also like to call Mr. Barrett to join me. And then after the symbolic presentation, Mr. Barrett will give his response.
Good morning, everybody. I would just like to say on behalf of the Ministry of Education, the Department of Education, and all of our schools on Nevis, our primary schools on Nevis, that I am really, really, really delighted and happy to be here for this handing over of the cricket gears that we received a little while ago. But I must single out, like everyone else, Mr. Merchant. Mr. Merchant and I, we have somewhat of a long-standing relationship. Ever since I was at the Charlestown Primary School, we started to talk about agriculture and things like that. But I am sure there are some persons here who are of my age and perhaps older would have fond memories of Murchie, as we used to call him, batting for the Nevis team, bowling for the Nevis team, and he would have been instrumental in a number of victories that Nevis would have had during his time when he was playing for Nevis. And I still recall this burly and, this cricketer with what we say as with body, going out to bat and hitting some lusty sixes, and with his medium pace, getting some wickets for us. And so when he says he has a passion for cricket, I don't think that passion is just from spectating that I think that he does know, but because he was so instrumental in it, and he knows what it takes to make a good cricketer. And he knows that gears, and he knows that equipment and opportunities, those are the things that make good cricketers. And so he going out of his way to get in touch with Tamara, and just from seeing something on television and having that insight and that passion for the game, and not even passion for the game, but passion for the island of Nevis, on just seeing something on television and say this could be beneficial not only to our young cricketers, but also to Nevis, because he mentioned when he was speaking about the prowess that we had at Leeward Island cricket during his time. And indeed, Antigua, to some extent, yes, was a team that we look forward to in terms of playing, because I believe the Antigua team brought out the best in our division cricketers. And having that, coming from that level, Mr. Merchant coming from that level, I know that you know that it takes equipment, it takes dedication, it takes having the right people and the right things in place for our cricket to rise once again and even higher than where it was during your time of playing cricket. I also remember listening to our esteemed West Indies cricket player, Mr. Keith Atherton, and I will share something about him. Keith Atherton and I also have a very, very, very long-standing relationship. And some of you may not know that he was the first sports officer that was attached to the Charlestown Junior School. Remember that, Artie? Yeah. Yes. And he and I developed a relationship from that time. I was teaching at the Charlestown Junior School. That time we were located at the Methodist Conference Room. And I saw in him what I would like to see in our coaches and also our players of cricket. That passion, that dedication, that attention to fitness and things like that. And I think even now, if you do not know Keith Atherton from long time, you look at him, you'll think that he's probably just in his 30s, maybe even younger than that, because he pays keen attention to what it takes to keep the body in physical fitness. So yes, we are here and we have gotten the gears. That is just the first part. The next part of this is to utilize what we have. It makes no sense for us to get a donation like this. And while I'm on the donations, I would like to say a profound thank you as well to Tamara and all those who would have collaborated with her in order for us to get the gears to Nevis. And we are at this point where we are actually making a distribution to the various schools. But it makes no sense for that effort to be made by our donors, Murchie and all the others who are on the committee, to have this ceremony and these gears are not put to good use. So I'm encouraging all the coaches, I'm encouraging all the schools that you are having a donation that lots of us during our school days would have liked to have. I heard Murchie mention about playing with one pad. I also had the opportunity to play with just one pad. Now we have our students playing in full gears, helmet, gloves, bat, two pads, even the right shoes and all these things. But what we are yet to see is our students and our cricket in general rising to the level of where we were. And I'm hoping that with this donation, that this will be the start of that uphill climb to once again regain that prominence in Leeward Islands cricket that Nevis had. And so I encourage the coaches, as Mr. Atherton said, he is willing to donate his time or spend his time using the practice facility, the Livingston Sargent cricket practice facility, to help our students to improve their game. And I want you to take him up on that, coaches. And we hope, yes, in the next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, that this ceremony would have been significant enough to propel one of our primary school children onto the Nevis cricket team, onto the Leeward Islands cricket team, and eventually onto the West Indies cricket team. We do not take this donation lightly, because we understand that folks in other parts of this world would have come together, made the effort, and I am hoping and wishing that we would recognize that effort that was made by these individuals and indeed use these cricket gears for our benefit. The Minister of Education, Honorable Troy Liburd, he too could not be here with us this morning. He sends his apologies, but he has expressed to me that this is worthwhile. This is something that he too would endorse as a tremendous initiative by Murchie and his fellow workers or colleagues, and he wants to express his gratitude to Murchie and the others, and by extension to Tamara, and as I said, all those who were instrumental in getting the gears to us. Thank you on behalf of the Ministry and Department of Education. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barrett, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education. As we come to a close for the ceremony, I just want to disseminate some information. First, what is in the bags? We have a combination of pads, batting and keeping glove, bats, balls, stumps, hats and shirts.
That's our package for this evening. I am Curtis Morton, reminding you that you can watch sports if you're not fit. But to play sports requires fitness, diligence, and sacrifice. Have a good night.